as well. Let's get into expectations again for the actual address here at the State of the Nation, just outside City Hall. What can you expect from things, and what has been the lay of the land so far all around? We're going to speak to the Speaker of Parliament, that is Thoko Didiza, who joins us now in the studio. Ma, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. And I suppose one of the big questions is, yes, we see the outside being ready. Is everything else ready? Is everything all right? Everything good?
Everything's good. Given that we're here sitting and we've not been blown out by the wind, it means everything is good. Not just outside, but also in the hall.
True, and that wind is certainly showing my colleague Iman a few concerns as well, who's out on the streets. It's a 7 million rand party, some might say, because we keep hearing the same thing over and over, but what goes into it?
We can't say it's a 7 million party. The expenditure towards the hosting of the events such as Sona is really about the essential, physical infrastructure that is required for such a hosting, particularly the places we create for you as the media to be able to interview not only for yourselves, but also to inform the citizens about what is happening in Cape Town today. An important event in our calendar as a nation, because that's where as citizens we listen to what the President's assessment of the state of our nation. What are the things that are aching citizens that government wants to respond to? But also, what are the global factors that have an impact to us as a country? So the State of the Nation is not only looking at the national sphere, but also it looks at the region, which we are part of our continent. It also looks at globally, to which we are interconnected.
Yeah. We also have to remember then that because of where we are right now, the costing has changed, though. It's almost halved, if not more, right, from last year. Let's just talk to all of those factors as to why it has halved. It's not necessarily that costs have gotten less, but there's been everything from a change of venue, etc. as well, which have impacted things, right?
Yes. If you recall, the cost of last year was escalated because of the weather in Cape Town, particularly that affected the overflow tent where most of our guests sit, to listen to the president. So immediately we had to make a decision and approach the ICC to assist us with the hosting of that constituency. And that pushed up the cost than what we had expected.
Yeah, so now as we look at it, what are the alternatives, or the, shall we say, the things that are happening outside of just the main city hall as well, that have needed to be organized by ourselves? Of course, we saw yesterday with regards to the readiness, so we saw a pre-drill sort of happening with regards to the process in getting to City Hall by President Cyril Ramaphosa. That will happen later today. Any other sort of factors that needed to be factored in when taking a look at this?
Well, one of the important factors that go towards the planning of Sona, it's about working together with a range of departments in our government that have the mandate of delivering certain infrastructure, such as public works. For instance, if you look at the tents that are here, is actually public works that is responsible, working with the city to make sure that the City Hall indeed is ready for that hosting. Also, to make sure that the security of, the precinct is in place, and that's why we work with the security cluster. You saw the Minister of Justice yesterday, police, as well as correctional services, because all of those are important in hosting a national event such as this.
If we just try to take a look at all the logistics that you've had to sort out as well, the key worry, some might say, is that there may still be protests in and around Cape Town as well. Have there been any threats, any concerns, any issues that you've had to sort of look out for, or at least be aware of for the sake of the Sona today?
There hasn't been any threat. However, when there are citizens' protests, to raise issues, we always have a space that the city will provide so that the citizens can be able to express their views about what are their concerns as citizens, which they would want the president to actually take into consideration. Some of them would apply to the city and indicate that they would like to have a march, expressing whatever issue they would want to be lifted and be seen by the public, and obviously be seen by their government and their public representatives. So those are usually attended to.
All right, very interesting. Thank you so much for giving us, I suppose, insight into that, because that's another important proponent. It's just safety. Overall, when one takes a look at this State of the Nation, I mean, any State of the Nation address, you obviously ask yourselves whether everything has been prepared correctly, if you need to alter or change things or do anything that is pretty much different from prior years. Have there ever been, and have there been requests that have really been unsightly and have been difficult to deal with? Because this is the opening of Parliament and a busy calendar year, one that's already kicked off in many ways for you as well. Are you anticipating pretty much the same?
I would say each and every State of the National Address will be different, not in terms of its hosting, but in terms of its content. What do citizens look up to? What is it that they would want their representative to raise in the debate of the State of the Nation Address? As you see, one of the issues that has been an issue for South Africans, I would say there are two, in my view. One is the state of local government, its capacity to be able to deliver services to our citizens. Earlier on, you were reflecting yourself with other parties about the concerns that citizens have around water. And you know that some few years back, the concern was around issues of energy, which government had attended to by, among other things, also having a minister directly, related to addressing that energy security issue. In the water space, you would recall that President raised this issue last year. And I think the challenge continues, particularly on how we address the nexus between the availability of water in terms of your reservoirs and the reticulation where water comes out of my tap. What is the challenge? And that is what I think communities to say, how do you fix this thing? Because it's not just the health that water brings for each one of us, but also it's part of driving our economy on another sense. And that is why citizens are saying this is a matter that we want our government to sort out. Secondly, citizens are saying we need to build on the shoots that we're seeing on our economy to make sure that it can expand, absorb more people into economic activity, particularly young people who are the majority of our citizens. We're not saying old people who are still able-bodied and can work must be displaced, but we're saying if we look at the present and the future of the country, our demographics show that we've got the youngest population. And it is important, therefore, to look at how we address the needs of those young people. The safety and security issue, it's another issue which I'm sure our citizens would be saying, how does our government really attend to this matter?
Has the GNU made your job tougher? Because you've got varying voices that now must be heard, whether you like it or not now.
I must say that the GNU has brought a dynamic, and I wouldn't say the GNU per se, because you've got parties that are not in the government of national unity. But what the 2024 elections did, I think, for all of us was bringing many voices into the parliamentary space who represents different constituencies of our country, who now can also have their voices, heard in terms of the work that they have to do. But it's important, once again, to reflect that in terms of our constitutional architect. This year we'll be celebrating 30 years of our Constitution. And I think the conversation this year is also about how has our Constitution, as a supreme law of the land, enabled our governance infrastructure, enabled us as citizens to be able to utilize the Constitution in order to better our lives.
Thoko Didiza, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. The Speaker for Parliament joining us as we head towards that timeline. Of course, the clock ticking away It's 11 hours and 30 minutes, just in case you needed that timeline. I tell you now that Didiza does not need that timeline. She knows exactly what is happening. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more news and more conversations from opposition parties. What do they want? What is it that even you at home are looking for when we head towards that Sona? Back with you in just a moment.